Adana Nwokorie was a beautiful woman who loved to show off. At 29, she had everything: a rich husband, 2 lovely children, and a big house in Lekki. Her husband, Chief Emeka Nwokorie, was a well-known businessman who made a lot of money. Their home was the kind of place people took pictures of from outside. It had tall gates, shiny marble floors, and a swimming pool that looked like it belonged in a hotel. But Adana cared more about showing the world her luxury life than actually living it. One Tuesday morning, Adana sat inside her white Range Rover. She wasn't going anywhere yet, but she had set up her ring light in the car and put her iPhone camera on. She wore a silk loungewear set with gold jewelry and big sunglasses. She smiled at her phone and went live on Instagram. "Good morning, my beautiful fans. Guess what? Your girl is going to Dubai next week, first class baby." Her followers filled the comments with love and praise. Adana laughed, flipping her hair and enjoying the attention. Meanwhile, her 2 children, Chimdi, 7 years old, and Samto, 4 years old, sat quietly in the back seat in their school uniforms. They were supposed to be at school early for a trip, but their mother had spent almost an hour getting ready and setting up her camera. When they finally reached the school, the children jumped out without saying much. Adana didn't notice. She was busy taking pictures of herself stepping out of the car, and later posted it with the caption, "School run in style #softlife #richwifethings." Back home, the house was silent. Chief Emeka had left for work hours ago. The kitchen was empty, the laundry was still in the basket, and there was no one to help. Their nanny had left a month ago because she was tired of doing too much work. Chief Emeka had been begging Adana to spend more time with the children. "They're growing fast, Adana," he said one evening. "They need their mother. I can't be the only one asking about homework and their health." But Adana just replied, "Babe, you know social media is my business now. I'm building my brand. This is work." That night, Adana had an idea. She remembered her niece, Amaka, a 20-year-old girl living in the village. Amaka was hardworking but had no job. "Why don't I bring Amaka to the city?" Adana told her husband. "She can help take care of the kids and the house." Chief Emeka looked unsure. "If you trust her, fine. But make sure she knows her boundaries." Adana smiled. "Trust me, babe. This will make life easier." What she didn't know was that this simple decision would change her life forever, and not in a good way. 2 weeks later, Adana's niece, Amaka, arrived from the village. She stepped out of the bus in front of the Lekki mansion, holding a small black bag and looking around in surprise. She had never seen a house so big before. Amaka was 20 years old, dark-skinned, and naturally beautiful in a quiet way. She didn't use makeup, but her smooth skin and bright eyes made her stand out. She wore a simple gown and slippers. Her hands were rough from farm work back in the village, but she smiled shyly when she saw her aunt. "Auntie Adana," she greeted, bending slightly. "My dear, welcome to Lagos," Adana said, hugging her lightly. "This place is your home now. But there's work, serious work. You'll help with the kids, cooking, and keeping the house tidy." "I'm a busy woman." Amaka nodded quickly. "Yes, auntie. I will do my best." From her first week, Amaka proved to be hardworking. She woke up early, made breakfast, prepared Chimdi and Samto for school, and cleaned the house without being told. She also helped carry Chief Emeka's briefcase to the car when he was leaving for work. Chief Emeka noticed how polite she was. She always greeted him warmly, but never looked him in the eye for too long. Adana, on the other hand, was getting more comfortable with her social media life. Now that Amaka was handling the house and kids, Adana had more free time for makeup, photo shoots, and brand deals. She started going to more parties, traveling for events, and posting even more online. Because Adana was always out, Amaka spent most of her time with the children and Chief Emeka. She helped Chimdi with homework, taught Somto nursery rhymes, and sometimes served Chief Emeka dinner when he came home late. One evening, Chief Emeka came back looking very tired. Adana was upstairs doing a live video with her followers, so Amaka brought him food in the living room. "Thank you, Amaka," he said softly. "This is just what I needed." She smiled shyly. "You're welcome, sir." From that day, Chief Emeka found himself talking to Amaka more, asking about her life in the village, her dreams, and how she was coping in Lagos. It all seemed innocent. At first. Even when neighbors began to notice how close Amaka was getting to the family, Adana didn't care. "Adana, be careful," one of her friends whispered during a brunch outing. "These young girls can be trouble." Adana laughed. "Trouble? Amaka is my blood. She would never try anything. Besides, I trust my husband." She had no idea that while she was busy chasing likes and followers online, something was slowly growing in her own home, something she would not be able to control when it finally came out. It was a Saturday morning. The sun was bright, and the children were playing in the compound. Chief Emeka was washing his black SUV while Amaka stood nearby, handing him a towel and a bottle of cold water. They laughed about something she said. From the balcony upstairs, Adana was taking pictures of her outfit for Instagram. She noticed them, but instead of thinking too much, she smiled and took a video. "Family vibes on a Saturday," she posted with a heart emoji. She didn't see anything strange. To her, Amaka was just helping her uncle. As the weeks passed, Adana began returning home later and later from events. Sometimes she found Chief Emeka still in the living room, watching TV with Amaka sitting quietly on the other couch. "Why are you still awake?" Adana would ask. "Oh, I was just keeping Uncle company," Amaka would say, standing up quickly. Adana never asked further questions. She trusted them completely. Slowly, Amaka's dressing began to change. She stopped wearing her old gowns and slippers. Now she wore fitted tops, leggings, and sometimes Adana's perfume. She tied her hair in a neater way and even started using lip gloss. One afternoon, while looking for her gold wristwatch, Adana entered Amaka's room without knocking. She was surprised to see Amaka sitting on her bed, smiling while looking at her phone. When she noticed Adana, she quickly hid the phone under her pillow. "What are you hiding?" Adana asked jokingly. "Nothing, Auntie," Amaka replied, forcing a smile. Adana didn't push it. She just took her watch and left. It was a Sunday after church when one of the estate women, Mama Tina, stopped Adana at the gate. "Adana, my sister, I know like to talk too much. But be watching that girl in your house," she said in a low voice. Adana frowned. "Which girl?" "That your niece. People are talking. They say she is too close to your husband." Adana laughed and waved her hand. "Please, leave that matter. Amaka is like a daughter to him. People just like gossip." She walked into the house without knowing that the gossip was closer to the truth than she thought. Chief Emeka started traveling less for work. He spent more weekends at home, and whenever Adana was away at an event, Amaka always seemed to be around him. One night, Adana returned from a friend's birthday around midnight. As she stepped into the living room, she heard soft laughter coming from the kitchen. She walked in and found Amaka serving Chief Emeka a plate of food. "Oh, babe, you're back?" Chief Emeka said casually. "Yes." Adana replied slowly, her eyes moving from him to Amaka. For the first time, something didn't feel right. The uneasy feeling Adana had that night in the kitchen didn't leave her. She tried to convince herself she was overthinking, but small things kept happening that made her uncomfortable. One afternoon, Adana was preparing for a brand photo shoot when she realized she had forgotten her second phone in the living room. When she went to pick it up, she saw Amaka quickly drop something on the couch and stand up. Adana's eyes moved to the phone. It was Chief Emeka's. On the screen was a missed call from Baby A. "Who is Baby A?" Adana asked immediately. Amaka smiled nervously. "Ah. That's me. Oh, Uncle saved my number like that for fun." Adana forced a laugh, but something in her chest tightened. She picked up her phone and walked away without saying more. The next weekend, Adana was invited to a big influencer party on Victoria Island. She was excited and planned to go with her husband, but Chief Emeka refused. "Babe, I'm tired. You go and have fun," he said. When she returned home that night, the house was too quiet. She went upstairs and saw Amaka coming out of the master bedroom wearing one of Adana's silk robes. "Why are you in my room?" Adana asked sharply. Amaka froze. "I was looking for your hair dryer. Mine is not working." Adana didn't argue. She just stepped aside and let her pass, but her mind was racing. 2 days later, Adana's close friend Kemi came to visit. While they were in the garden, Kemi lowered her voice. "Adana, I'm your friend, so I'll say this once. That your niece. She's not just helping with the house. People are talking. I even heard someone say they saw her and Emeka together at a small restaurant outside the estate." Adana frowned. "Kemi, stop. Amaka is my blood. My own sister's child. She wouldn't dare." Kemi sighed. "I just hope you're right." One evening, while helping Samto with homework, Amaka said something strange. "Your daddy is such a nice man. He takes care of me very well," she said, smiling to herself. Chimdi looked at her and replied innocently, "Yes, you and daddy are always together when mummy is not home." Adana, who was walking past, stopped. "What did you say?" she asked her son. "Nothing, mummy," Chimdi replied quickly. Her stomach turned. She went upstairs, but her hands were shaking. For the first time, Adana started to see her perfect mansion not as a home, but as a place where something was happening behind her back. And deep inside, she knew the truth was coming, whether she was ready or not. Was a Thursday morning. The air in the house felt strange, heavy. Chief Emeka had already left for work, and the children were at school. Adana was in the living room, scrolling through Instagram comments, when Amaka walked in slowly. Her hands were shaking, and she wouldn't look Adana in the eyes. "Auntie. I need to tell you something," she said quietly. "What is it?" Adana asked, still tapping on her phone. "I'm pregnant." The words made Adana freeze. She turned to look at Amaka, certain she had heard wrong. "What did you say?" "I'm pregnant. For Uncle," Amaka repeated, tears filling her eyes. The room went quiet. Adana could hear her own heartbeat in her ears. She stared at Amaka for a long time, her face blank. "You're lying," she finally said, her voice trembling. "Tell me you're lying." Amaka shook her head. "I wish I was lying. I didn't plan for it to happen. It just happened." Adana felt a rush of heat rise to her head. She stood up so quickly her chair almost fell. "Where is Emeka?" she shouted. When Chief Emeka came home later that day, Adana was waiting. The children were in their rooms, and Amaka had locked herself in the guest room. "Is it true?" Adana asked the moment he stepped into the living room. Emeka sighed, dropped his briefcase, and sat down. He didn't look surprised. He didn't even try to deny it. "Adana. I made a mistake," he said quietly. Her hands flew to her head. "A mistake? You slept with my niece, in my house, under my roof, and you call it a mistake? I didn't plan it. You were never around. She was always here, helping me, talking to me." His voice trailed off. Those words cut Adana deeper than a knife. By evening, the news had already spread through the estate. Someone had seen them arguing and recorded part of it. Blogs carried headlines: billionaire's wife's niece pregnant for her husband, from rich wife to betrayed slay queen, Adana's pain. Brand deals began canceling. Her followers on Instagram turned against her. The same people who once praised her perfect life were now mocking her. But this was only the beginning. The real disaster was still coming, because Adana didn't yet know that Amaka wasn't just pregnant. She had a plan. For part 2. Comment, likes, and follow.